welcome to our presentation on the Phillips curve. Phillips was an economist from New Zealand who spotted that when employment levels were high, wages rose faster. So people have more money to spend, prices go up, and so does inflation. This became known as the Phillips curve, which shows an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment, and the line looks like so. There is an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment because when we have more unemployment, there's an increased cost for firms, so there's an increased total cost putting up the prices, which is why inflation occurs. The point where this curve hits the x-axis is the point of NAIRU, which stands for the non-accelerating inflationary rate of unemployment, which is also called full employment. However, we can never have a full level of employment due to unemployment such as frictional unemployment and structural unemployment. So this is actually around the 3 to 5% mark. However, when Phillips introduced this curve, governments started using this as a general policy for their countries. So when we saw an increase in unemployment, we were expecting to see lower prices, and when we saw a decrease in unemployment, more people were employed, we were expecting a rise in prices. However, because of the fact that the workers could see the effects of the curve, when unemployment went down, so went this way, the workers expected inflation to happen and demanded higher wages, which caused a rise in unemployment. This happened in the 70s when both of these variables increased, and in the 1990s unemployment dropped, so unemployment went that way, and inflation also dropped, so it shows that the curve is not always completely accurate. So these examples show that the curve isn't actually completely accurate. So later on, economists came along and labelled this the short-run Phillips curve and made a slight adjustment in adding a long-run Phillips curve line right here, which shows that no matter what the rate of inflation is, unemployment in the long term will always return to the same point. The only way we can change the full level of unemployment and shift the long-run curve is by using supply-side policies. So free market economists say that it's actually impossible to reduce the unemployment below the Nehru point, except at the cost of suffering ever-accelerating unanticipated inflation, which is likely to accelerate into hyperinflation. Okay, so now we're going to look at movements along the short-run curve caused by decreased unemployment. So here we have a graph which has price level and real national output. We start with our AS and our AD curve, so aggregate supply, aggregate demand, and we have our long-run equilibrium here. So this, we can call this point A, and this can be shown here, which is our level of full employment in the long run. It's a situation where unemployment has decreased, so we've got an increase in aggregate demand, which can be shown by a shift to the right of the aggregate demand curve. The equilibrium is now going to be here at B, which can be shown, say, here. Let's call this an inflation rate of 4%. So once inflation has increased, now the company has higher costs. They've got more costs, they have to pay the workers more for their wages. So because of the increased costs, the firm must reduce their costs by letting workers go. So the aggregate supply must now shift to the left. We've got a decreased supply. We'll shift that to the left here. It shifts that way, and that's all that way. So now we've got our new equilibrium at C. And on the long run Phillips curve, this can be shown by moving this point along to the long run Phillips curve here. Now our new equilibrium at C. And now we are going to get a shift to the right of our short run Phillips curve. And again, if inflation continues to rise, we're going to have more increases here, causing our Phillips curve to increase further. Thank you for watching.